This Real Agriculture podcast is brought to you by Genesis Fertilizers. Nitrogen fertilizer is your farm's #1 expense. Farmers are working together through Genesis Fertilizers to solve the problem of high prices and security of supply by planning a state-of-the-art nitrogen plant. Security and earnings through ownership is the solution. Visit Genesis today at genesisfertilizers.com to learn more.
Sean Haney here with Real Agriculture and Real Ag Radio. We're already 147, Sirius XM. And of course, this week it is Crop Production Show in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And that means that we've got a whole bunch of AGMs. We've been interviewing the executive directors from all the different groups. And up now, we're talking to Tracy Broughton. She is the executive director with SaskCanola. Tracy, it's great to chat with you.
Good to chat with you as well.
Okay, so it kind of I think big news. And this is the I guess the amalgamation vote, it's being called, between SaskCanola and SaskFlax. So growers have approved this, or give us some of the results and what the question was.
Yeah, so about a year ago, or just over a year ago, the SaskCanola and SaskFlax board got together, discussed SaskCanola providing basically operational support to SaskFlax. So basically, we've been operating as one staff for both of the two different boards over the last year. Last year at our AGM, the boards brought forward resolutions to explore amalgamation. So survey the membership, see what it might look like, how we might make sure that we could work well together and ensure that we would be able to provide value for both the canola and the flax levy appropriately. So this week we were able to bring that back to the membership, and it was unanimous for both organizations to move ahead with amalgamation.
Okay, so what are the next steps? What does that look like? Because there's a number of these that are either in progress or completed, like Alberta Grains, for example, was Alberta wheat and barley. And one thing I learned in that situation was this is not quick. So what are the next steps for you in order to make this all happen?
So the next steps are over the next couple of months, the SaskCanola board and SaskFlax board will be working with Agri-Food Council to update our regulations so that we can legally adopt the mandate of SaskFlax. We're going to be tracking the levies separately so that we can invest those dollars appropriately into the development of each crop, and then figuring out what governance looks like going forward. Also, what our brand looks like what do we present ourselves to growers as. We didn't make any of these decisions before. Our boards didn't make any final decisions before the AGMs because obviously we wanted to bring it forward to the membership, make sure that they were in favor.
So from canola's perspective, why flax? What's the match there that makes this seem like it's such a, you said unanimous, so there's a pretty strong feeling on this. What's the match?
Well, farmers grow a basket of crops, and so from our board's perspective, they like the diversity of the crop rotation in Saskatchewan. There's also synergies with it being the oilseed complex. In Saskatchewan, we have several commodity groups, and we've often supported, some of the smaller groups, just making sure that farmer programs are there and available, and we're using our levy dollars to support growers and their farm profitability.
It's interesting to keep the levy dollars separate so that you can do it, but there probably is some collaborative, shared, when we think about the oilseed, oilseeds in general, there's probably some common projects there.
Yeah, there definitely will be. And we'll be able to, have a proportion for administration for each crop based on the amount of time that some things will take. There's areas of, overlap with respect to things like policy, market development, public trust, those kinds of things that we invest in. There are research projects that have both crops included, even soil projects. I think tracking the levy separate just helps with a little bit of accountability and explanation back to the growers. It's also two different levies. So it's 75 cents a ton for canola versus over $2 for flax. Flax straw also has a levy. And so just giving us some time to really adopt that as staff and manage it and the board to manage it as well. Tracking it'll just help us make sure that we're able to report back to our growers. So maybe in the future it would be one once we could figure out the right balance.
Saskatchewan oilseeds, kind of. Now, well, that's one suggestion for you for the brand. I'm sure there's others. So, okay, I'll ask the question. This is like, this is the beginning of a little bit of the potential snowball here. Does it stop here? Or how much more room is there for more consolidation in this space, right? Like we're starting to see groups, like we've got wheat and winter cereals together. We've got, like I mentioned, other provinces. So, Ontario did this a long time ago with wheat and corn and soybeans to create the Grain Farmers of Ontario. So there is models out there. Is this the beginning of a larger snowball where we could see a lot more consolidation going forward?
I think that'll be driven by our growers. We definitely, it's definitely starting some conversations. There are some growers that feel very strongly that we should have, one group representing everyone. I've heard that. I've been in the Saskatchewan ag industry for over a decade now, and I've heard some people say that. I've heard other farmers say that, we need to have lots of farm representation because we want to make sure we have grassroots, lots of farmers being represented. So I think it is a bigger, longer conversation. With flax and canola, that's just one small part of it.
Yeah. Do you have an estimate on potential cost savings or synergies? Like you mentioned that you were, the two groups were sharing a staff already, which is I think a common first step that in some of these other situations. Now that bringing the two groups together officially, where are some of those opportunities?
I don't have the hard numbers for you, but we definitely, like, when you think about flax had an office space before, which they don't need anymore. So there's savings in rent and all the utilities and all of those sorts of things. One audit versus two audits. So right there, that saves a few $1,000s. They are paying a fee for the administrative services, but they have access to a group of 10 staff versus having like one individual who's kind of covering all the bases. And that was one of the things that the chair of SaskFlax talked about during the canola EGM as well, is that it opened a lot of opportunities in terms of having specialized staff working on different things.
Well, Tracy, thanks a lot for joining us here. Really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure I will see you some point during all of the winter meeting season. So thanks a lot and congratulations on an AGM.
Thank you very much. Good to talk to you as well.